my Amiga Mini 500 finally arrived. So we're going to give you an unboxing video, and then I'm going to share some of my impressions with Dr. Mike.
Bog Panda.
Well, it finally arrived, my Amiga 500 Mini. Props to Retro Games for some great packaging. And there it is in all its glory. I love it. Inside is the manual. And a smaller but accurate Amiga mouse. The CD32 styled gamepad. But where's the power brick? Oh, it's bring your own brick. Looks like there's an extra USB port, maybe for my Atari Fight Stick, maybe just for a keyboard. I'll list all 25 games in the video description, but here's a peek. A really awesome feature is you can hit the up arrow on the gamepad when you have a game selected, and it'll give you the mapping for your gamepad or joystick or mouse. We'll do a deeper game dive later, but here are some snippets from a few of my favorites. Also, there are 4 game save slots for each game, and you access that by selecting the game and pressing the down arrow. There's a Doom-like version of Alien Breed 3D, but sadly this is probably my least favorite. By pressing the menu button, you can bring up a virtual keyboard. You see it there on the right. Works pretty well. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I'm Kelly. I hope it's back. Hope this isn't your first time. But if it is, welcome. I'm Kelly at KELLYTHOL on Twitter and Instagram.
I am Dr. Mike at Official Pagan on everything. If this is your first time, even if it's not, and you just haven't done it yet, make sure you guys like, subscribe, leave a comment, turn on notifications, and you'd look really good in one of our t-shirts. So why don't you hit up the merch store?
Most excellent. So,
or as Kelly likes to say, that t-shirt would look really good on his floor in the morning.
The old Mike Lycounter. We just gotta bring it up. Always handy to have that available. So after much waiting and hand wringing and excitement, my Amiga Mini has arrived. You just had a chance to see the unboxing video from it, and I just want to share some additional first impressions with Mike. I haven't, because kind of it arrived and I had to head out of town for a few days right after it arrived. I actually took it with me to the hotel I was staying at, figuring that I could probably get some quality time with it. And I did find a way to get the HDMI connected to, but the hotel remote controls don't let you switch source. And so I couldn't do that. I found the buttons kind of on the back of the TV, and those apparently were disabled. So it made a trip with me, but didn't get any use there. So I've been back for a little while, starting to get into a little bit more. So we'll do a much deeper dive on the games and that later, but wanted to kind of just share some initial first impressions with Dr. Mike. So you had a chance to see the unboxing video. Mike, was there any surprises for you in that, or is it kind of what you expected?
I wouldn't say any surprises. I think it looks great, but that's what, as you know, already owning 2 products from retro games myself, that's what I would expect. Like that look to it looks incredible. I'm sure it has a good quality feel to it. I would be surprised if you said otherwise. One of the things that I thought was interesting, and I saw this before, but I think it's fun. You know, you do mention that it doesn't come with a power brick. That's becoming more and more common with a lot of this stuff, because they just assume you have those lying around. I've also noticed quite a few things not coming with HDMI cables anymore, because again, they just assume you have those lying around. I did like, not only did they give you an HDMI cable, but it's color matched to the actual system. I thought that was really cool.
Yep. As were the Amiga cables originally. So, I mean, they've kind of stayed very, very true to the whole Amiga aesthetic, which is fantastic. So I think anybody who's been watching the show knows I was very excited about this coming out. Got the pre-order in. It has not disappointed yet. It looks great. The controllers work very effectively. The optical mouse is remarkably sensitive. And that's one of the what's really nice is kind of as you menu through, it'll let you know which games are single or multiplayer through icons, and also with icons, which games you can play with the controller pad only, the mouse only, or both. So you can kind of decide whichever it goes through. So certain games are good. I know you were pretty excited because you'd heard good things about the controller, the gamepad, and it is good. I do like it, and it's fun to play. But I've actually found for a couple of the games, particularly the billiards game that's pool game that's available on here, the mouse is significantly better, just because you have a much more kind of precise way as you're looking to kind of change the angle of your cue stick. That you can do that with the control pad, but it's just not as fine pointed as it is with the mouse. But
That makes sense to me. Not that I've played a lot of pool games, but I can picture that being the way to go as far as the controls go with a pool game.
yeah, so I mean, 25 games out of the box, and then I kind of wish they made the connection a little bit easier, but it's not bad. In the quick, so you get a quick start manual, hard copy with it. In the manual, it says, go here to download the full manual. So you have to go online and pull a PDF down that gives you the full manual, which includes content to how do you do a firmware update and those types of things. And so I've done a firmware update now. That was a pretty straightforward process of putting it on a USB, getting it over to the mini. And they recommend pulling all the peripherals except the gamepad off of it at that point. And you go into system settings, and it recognizes if there's a USB that's available that has a higher version of the firmware, and the update happened really quick. So that was good. It's also got all the instructions, and what I've not had a chance to do yet is the game loader, and to be able to kind of play additional games on it. But there are an additional 5 games, which I don't know as of this recording what they are. There's an additional 5 free games that you can download and put on that USB once you get it set up for the Amiga environment. So, so actually 30 games, which is like even better, and the ability to get some other Amiga classics as well. So super excited to begin with. It works out well. Not surprisingly, I'm having fight stick issues. I thought this could be amazing. This could be pretty cool. So far, my fight stick integration appears limited. Basically, the only thing I was able to do eventually was get the trackball to kind of act like a sucky mouse, but with no action keys. So it was like, well, I can move a cursor around the screen. So again, this is either some of my limitations, but there really isn't any controller configurations in the menu right now. I think as firmware upgrades come, there's going to be a little richer services there as well. But I'd kind of hope the fight stick would work right away, but I have to wait on that, I think, a little bit.
Very interesting. So first impressions, all positive so far?
Yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, so I don't have a negative about it beyond just this process of, well, the full manual is over here in a PDF, and then you read that PDF, and that gives you a link to where you can get the software for firmware updates and loading games and that type of stuff. I kind of wish there was more of a portal, like I could register my product and basically kind of come into an environment that stuff was available to me, versus kind of having to grab a document. And I got to keep this PDF around somewhere, which is no big deal, but I've got to kind of keep track of it. So I would have liked maybe a little easier, if you're going to make this stuff available for me online, let me register into a community or something like that, which I was a little surprised with. And the other part would have been, and I know this is probably an element of price more than anything else, Wi-Fi integration would have been nice as well. But this is what it is. It's and it's a gaming extension, gaming platform, and Amiga emulation, and for all those things, it's great. So I was gonna say, if you're gonna put some stuff for me that I'm gonna have to get online to look at, give me a Wi-Fi connection so I can do a little internet with it and kind of get it without having to leave the game environment. But that's just a little quibble. I'm certainly able to do this, easily enough. It's just an extra step or two.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, I'm excited to eventually get one. I ended up ordering the Mortal Kombat 30th anniversary first, but I am excited to eventually get my hands on one, particularly for the gamepads. I've seen so many good things about that CD32 style gamepad, so I want to see how that actually works out. It'll be cool too to kind of get the more authentic looking mouse and be able to kind of carry that over to Super Console X and things like that, and playing some of these games there using the controller and the mouse.
Yeah.
Now, a question that I would have for you, since we saw on Perifractic, he already added a floppy disk drive to his. Are you going to add a floppy disk drive to this?
Uh, so you broke the ground on adding a floppy drive to your 64 mini. I think I will at some point. It's probably just not at this point like on top of my list to do. I know I still owe you some 3D printing too to give you a little better case for some stuff, which maybe I'll print 2 of those so that I can do that as well. But it looks like a fun project and I'd like to do it. But it's not on my short. I will get to it, but it's just like probably not next on my to-do list. Downloading a bunch more Amiga games legally is my next step.
I mean, then you can do what I did, hook that up to your X games, then hook a floppy drive up to it. And then you're playing floppy drive games on your X games, instead of the way more convenient way of doing it through CoinOpsX.
Yeah, that would be a way. And,
who needs that when you could put 1 or 2 games on a floppy disk, then load it into that and then play it off your X Games mini, or in your case, your full size X Games Legends.
Yep, it'll be on the list. I just don't know if it's going to bubble to the top anytime soon. But I highly recommend if anyone was on the fence around this, it's a great little system. I like it, and I'm going to be interested to see what the additional 5 games are. We'll give you an update on that, and then as I start to pull a couple other things across that I want to go through, I think it'll be fun as well. So, all right. Well, as always, appreciate you folks watching. If you don't mind leaving a comment, subscribing, like, any of that kind of stuff, all helps the channel out. We greatly appreciate it. And thanks for watching.
Thanks, everybody.